Staring down the barrel of elimination. Now we see Fable. They take on the most mightiest of tasks have they ever have done before, Dave. They are now facing the world's #1 team to possibly stay in this competition. They've already they've already been taken down by Straight Ripon. They now have to beat Splyce to kind of have any chance of making it to that championship bracket.
I mean, what an epic way to possibly make it into the bracket, if so, but I think their dreams might fall short here in this upcoming match. Splyce is too scary of a squad.
Yeah, it's, I always hate to kind of put a team down before the start, so to speak, but the amount of respect that we have to pay to Splyce is just simply unbelievable. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Halo World Championship. This is day #1, Friday. My name is Sims, this is Dave Walsh. I've got a new jacket and he's got new beautiful hair, and we are in for potentially, if it were to happen, the world's greatest upset. But honestly, I think it's just going to be a whitewash. This pretty much determines the life and prospects for Fable as they go up against Splyce. Now, so far, Splyce, Dave, they've just broken Halo 5. They've completely flipped the meta on its head. Say, all right, boys, this is how we play now. You're not playing a 4v4. You're playing a 4 versus 2 versus 2 and a set of young boys that are going to run at you no matter what day it is.
Yeah, I wish I could go find some old audio clips of me back in the early Halo 5 days, because I'm sure I've said something along the lines of like, hey, this CLG or this Optic roster is not going to be beat unless they beat themselves. And this Phoenix rises out of the ashes, this Splyce squad, who've all been on different teams, all have had small, minute amounts of success, but this superstar squad comes together and not only beats Tox once, they beat him back-to-back tournaments in, I would say, pretty dominating fashion.
When you were at the height of playing back in the day, Dave, was there ever a certain point in your mind that crossed to kind of talk to Final Boss, say, you know what, boys? We're not going to scrim now. We're just going to play each other in 2v2s.
We never got to that point because back then, the netcode wasn't nearly as good, and we actually would lose a majority of our scrims online, so we'd have to out-teamwork people. We would not be able to win our 1v1 battles or our long-range battles, especially online. So it was great practice here, but these guys, it's pretty sickening to hear. There's like, yeah, we feel like in order to get our individual skills up, we have to play each other.
That's scary. What do you think it's more? Where does it weigh more to? Does it weigh more that teams don't practice against them so they don't know how to play, or for the simple fact that they do their own thing so that they actually raise their own individual skill?
I truly think it's the individual skill thing at this point. I've seen some old footage of when we saw like Optic/Tox playing against this roster earlier, and they would get into these 1v1 uncomfortable fights and lose the majority of them every single time against Splyce. So they aren't fully relying on saying, hey, we have this set up, and guess what? And throughout their scrims, they get in this comfortable mode where they're always having 2-on-1s and all these comfortable fights. They're going into the gutter against each other. It's just non-stop, crazy 1v1 or 2v2 action against each other, having to get those finishes, knowing escape routes, and knowing how to finish off their own kills. So it's just madness on the Splyce roster.
All right, then, I think we've got some crowd mics. I see a lot of people in the audience. Audience, how y'all doing down there? You all right?
We've got a great crowd here,
It's amazing. I mean, this view right now, just above our shoulders, looking down, all the people here, the venue is absolutely incredible. If you're not down here this weekend, honestly, I feel sorry for you, but I want to say thank you so much for tuning in. This weekend is going to be incredible. Come on, guys, you're on TV. Give the camera a wave. Give the camera a wave. There you go.
Yeah, this is just Friday. Pools day.
Isn't it beautiful, though? I mean, this is kind of what we wanted for Halo. This is...
It's like, what Halo deserves, man. I think Halo has been one of the most pivotal esports in the North American scene, without a doubt, and throughout the world. I mean, you think about how long Halo has been around. I mean, it's not as early as something like Counter-Strike, but regardless, like, the things that it's done, the lives it has changed, especially mine. I mean, I owe my life, in many cases, to Halo and this competitive scene.
Same. Be with my career. It's a legendary game, legendary franchise, and this is going to be a legendary event. Can, of course, Tox produce that third back-to-back-to-back World Championship, which is scary to say? Or can we now see a new team come in, sweep the whole dynasty from beneath them? I mean, the thing is, it's possible.
History repeats itself. Now, consider this. Back in the day, myself with the Ogres and such, we won the 2004, the 2005 national championships. We were dominating throughout the 2006 season. However, this squad named Carbon came along the second half of the season. They made this little switch. They swapped out Strong Side, got Ghostiami, and they beat us 2 events in a row. And it comes out to the Nationals that year, and Carbon has their banner hanging. That will live in Halo history. They beat us. They beat us 3 events in a row. We eventually got some retribution the following year. But whole point being is, I think recency bias holds a lot for me when it comes to what team is on the top in Halo. Yes, Tox has been dominant for these last 2/3 years. They won the last 2 world championships. However, most recent past, in the past 2 months, Tox has lost the 2 tournaments to Splyce.
Many years ago, if someone had told you that you'd be playing Halo, or you could have the potential to play Halo in a video game for $1 million, what would you have said?
I would have probably laughed at them, but I mean, yeah, like, it's funny. I was talking about this earlier on the banners up there. The 2004 championship, I think we walked away with $10,000, which was an enormous amount at the time for Halo C. And each year the prizes scaled larger and larger. I think, you know, maybe it was like 20 or 40,000 the following year, and then the following year $100,000, and here we are with $1 million on the line. I
still can't believe that 2016 with 2.5 mil. Like that figure, just to think that one team walked away. Each individual player, or obviously we don't know what sponsors and coaches and everything else take, but each player on that roster from CLG took home $250,000. That's some bank.
That is crazy. Them making that in a weekend. I mean, you make that every single year, Sims. I mean, they're making that in just a weekend. Isn't that right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, mate. Yeah, I had a private jet fly me over here. I had a Team Beyond sponsorship down the side. Joe Saucy made sure there was a Ferrari picking me up from the airport. Shout out to Joe and Siren over at Beyond there. You could see it that it had its own Tox badge on the side of the wing. Say, what do you mean? You probably won more money in your time than I have ever made in my history. Don't give me that shit. You've been rolling in bank in your for many years. All right, so I've seen a map fly through. So this is looking like game number 1 is about to get underway. This is going to be an incredible match, guys. Hopefully, we can see some very good signs of life coming out of Fable, because this is an absolute battle for them. If they lose this one, unfortunately, I don't think they'll be seeing the champ bracket. Splyce, your number 1 team in the world right now. Your 2-time back-to-back North American champions. They're looking for a win here at the World Championships. Can they get their first title under the belt? Well, let's see if they can get this match out of the way first. Fable, obviously, they're going to be on the back foot, Dave. They're going to be worrying themselves a little bit. I think this will just be kind of a general game for Splyce, though.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you, Sim, but it's called a Fable, and it's not a full true story for what it's worth. So if you're expecting a good match here, you might want to pick up a storybook.
Oh, I love it when you come out with your little stories. It's amazing. Looking at Renegade's POV, they're saying this. I think they're just going to bank this into a triple cap. Eco moves down onto the bench, shotgun in hand, and camo as well. So we used to call that one the Predator combo. We're back in MCC. And I like the fact that if you look at his position, Dave, he's not actually moved from here. He's moved up from top pipes. He's gone back down towards light rifle again, picking up kills with the shotgun, just kind of playing bodyguard here.
Well, the reason why he's holding this down is because he can essentially isolate those 3 main areas and cut off that whole half of the map as far as angles go. So it basically isolates all those players having to go over towards blue or cafe or hotel, and they don't have different cross-map angles. Because what Eco can do in those situations is someone goes top gold, someone goes light rifle, or towards loop side, he can isolate that 1v1 shotgun fight. And so he's essentially either getting a free kill or just assuming his teammates are not getting shot from multiple angles.
All right, so you've got points on the board. You've got these 2 plots, Dave. How do you keep them? Do you push for the triple cap, or do you think you try and play defensive and just kind of push them out of these plots?
Are you talking from Fable's POV in this situation?
Yeah, Fable.
Fable's POV, you gotta just say, hey, give up yard, go try to take nest, hold these 2 strongholds, and at some point, if you do get some numbers on the board, if you get a couple members of Splyce down, that's when you go for yard. But you can't get too overly aggressive against the Splyce squad. We talked about how comfortable they are in those 2v2 situations, so if you try to go 2-on-2 in yard and 2-on-2 at nest, I think Splyce is coming ahead in that engagement.
I think it's the most worrying thing about this is
oh, those dirty moves, those crouch strafes from Renegade. You know he's been in so many fights where he's down a shot or 2 and just knows how to just avoid a shot, make it last that little bit longer where you can get an extra shot on or actually get the kill.
Camo's just popped. Who's going to be grabbing this one? We'll see in a second. Who's going to be getting it on the thumb looking across? It is going to be Shotzi, of course. It had to be someone from Splyce. They're not going to be giving up a power-up like this. Creeping around, little Shotzi looking for the spawners. He knows where they're going to be because of perpendicular to where the rest of his teammates are. There's one. Another player next to him there with no shield. I'm looking in the kill feed. Looks like Stella's going to pick that one up. Will destroy the barrel so he doesn't get taken out by it, which is something, actually, to be fair, it's surprising still how many people get killed by that barrel. They don't actually pay attention to it and get rid of it, just as you saw there. One player will drop down. Cristola does have some support. 1, 2, 3. Snaky hits the deck once again. That's the thing about the light rifle. If you have incredible aim, it's only 3 bullets to the dome to drop somebody.
Yeah, when he has the shot advantage like that, you saw how he kind of took that slow. That third and final shot, he just took his time. He realized he doesn't need to panic. In a case like this, his pacing's much faster because he realized that he was kind of in mid-range fight. He was down in the action, but it's kind of funny how these players will shoot slightly different. They have their own styles of shooting when it comes to finishing off kills. Some try to panic and get as fast as possible, and Shotzzy, when he's calm, cool, and collected, is just going to finish that off nice and slow.
The thing what kind of, like, not necessarily worries me, but impresses me and scares me. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's all of Fable dead, unfortunately. But they do have the triple cap.
Yeah, but I mean, they paid with their lives. So I mean, getting a trip cap for just a moment where they're getting 5 points on the board is not worth giving up all that control on the map. But despite that going on, we did see a couple kills on the board. I want to say it's 2 dead for each team right now. But it looks like Stellar is going on for a massive flank here over towards top nest. Catches Crystal off guard and gets that kill.
Look at that rotation. Just sweeps round, cleans up the player, tags the... I think he's probably going to tag this one as well. We'll jump in, head-to-head on Snaky. Gets the kill. Can he get the reset? Someone else? Oh my god, they didn't even look at him. That's poor teamwork right there. He was no shield. Nobody, but the second player didn't even look at Stella.
No, I mean, Stellar is hidden long enough, so as soon as the engagement happens in Halo, assuming you're not right next to your teammate, you can just do that bait and switch instantly. As soon as you start hearing fire going the other way, you know it's so tough to switch targets. Even if they're 2 or 3 shots in that battle, they're not going to turn to try and hit that one shot when they just already have their cursor on the opponent.
Triple cap goes from the hands of Fable and drops into the welcome palms of Splyce. They will lose one. On the opposing side, he's looking for the player on driveway, getting tanked up from behind, so he knows exactly where he's going to be, somewhere around the hotel to S1 area. One player top mid, that's going to be Cristola. Assist medal comes in, Shotzzy finishes that one off, and they still know that they've got Fragger lingering around here hotel. That grenade should at least either kill him or flush him out, so his teammate can finish him off, pushes back in, easy kill. Couple of wing shots there, which is something we don't really see out of Stella, but again, the call comes through, Eco answers straight across, Kevin Smith comes in, easy kill for him. Is he still alive? Whereabouts is Hero? I'm just looking at this one, looking at his bottom mid, trying to fight one. Backquack comes in again, no one's calling out Stella. Finally, they take him down after a killing frenzy.
10 without death, and that's just a testament to how much control they have on the map right now. We are seeing 2 strongholds in the hands of Fable. Now, that may seem like a bad sign if you're looking from Splyce POV, like, wait, how are Fable getting outslayed like this and still able to get in strongholds? But to me, it's actually a really good sign from Splyce. They're willing to give up strongholds momentarily while they get slays because of it. So they're saying, hey, in a situation where they can't hold it, they're not going to give up any more dumb deaths. Instead, they're just going to give up those strongholds and get people as they're trying to escape from those strongholds.
Quite heavily outslayed at the moment. Oh, that's a triple kill coming out of Stella. Snaky definitely didn't want to give him the over there, so he does back off. No shields whatsoever. Throws a grenade, looking for the hit markers. His teammates do push him back. Eco comes flying in. Needs to get on this now. They could just push in, and to be honest with you, end the game here and now. They all step in. 99. Can they take it over? Of course they can. That's going to be Splyce taking game number 1. 100 points to 24 kills. 55 kills in the favor of Splyce over to Fable's mere 36. So the slaying power was there. The objective efficiency was there, and honestly, we wouldn't have expected any other way. It feels a little bit rough to be talking about Fable. We don't mean, well, I don't mean to be derogative in any way, shape, or fashion, but look at these kind of statistics. Triple kill, killing frenzy, 2.7 KD, 17 kills with the Magnum. Players like Stella are the reason why Splyce right now is the absolute cream of the freaking crop. 22-8. What kind of stat line is that?
I mean, he's getting 3 to 4 kills a minute. That's essentially Stellar by himself killing all of Fable once a minute for the entire game.
That's... you can't do that. That's not fair. Stop it. Like, when you put it into that perspective, that's just, especially with the amount of low deaths that are also in there, that's just kill, kill, kill. It's a robotic playstyle.
Yeah.
It's a completely robotic playstyle. Like,
these guys are here for business this weekend.
how do you think they're going to... I mean, obviously, we will be talking about this next game that's about to come on your screen, which is going to be Team Slayer on Regret, but how insane do you think if Tox finally do match up against them here on the main stage? How do you think it's going to be?
When it does happen, I mean, I think I can speak for the entire audience here. If somehow this matchup didn't happen throughout the weekend, we would all be severely disappointed. But when that matchup does happen, it's going to be a slugfest. The thing about it is, even though Splyce have had some impressive score lines against Tox in the past, Tox is still taking off games.
Yeah.
They've still done strong.
Splyce give him a good series.
Yeah, Splyce have been taking a lot of the close games as well. That's one thing that Wes Clutch had pointed out earlier. So with that in mind, I mean, I expect incredible matches. I mean, I do think, based on the recency bias, that Splyce are going to come ahead in that, just based on recent past. But with that being said, Tox are not going to be any easy fight.
All right, then let's focus back onto this one then. Fable versus Splyce. If you are joining, guys, I want to say welcome along. This, of course, is the Halo World Championship 2018. $1 million prize pool. We're going to be playing Halo all weekend long, baby. Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday we crown a grand champion and give away $500,000. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Make sure you tweet in the stream all weekend long. Use that hashtag HaloWC. We will have a couple of B-stream matches. All the matches this weekend are going to be streamed. Give the Twitch account a follow. It's twitch.tv/HCS. That's the new Halo Esports account on Twitch. Give it a follow. Make sure you've got it bookmarked. I'm sure we'll be seeing more stuff coming from that, not only this weekend, but for the rest of Halo's eternity. At the moment, it's 10-4. It's a little bit of a kind of pin the tail on the donkey here. They're just following her around and kind of catching them on the rotation, Dave. They know this is the thing about Regret, and it really does. When you're playing a good team, you just can't catch your breath. As soon as you respawn, they just sniff you out, follow you, flush you through, and kind of move to the next point where they know you're going to be.
Yeah, with that being said, though, Splyce got off to a pretty strong start, and Fable are bringing this back a bit. Only a 3-kill differential right now, which is not insurmountable. They're in really good shape, and great shots from SLG taking out Renegade over at Red 2. Sometimes, unfortunately, you have to hit perfect shots in order to get one of these players down.
SLG is a good little player, man. I like this. He's trying to run away for now. Unfortunately, he was sprinting a little bit too long. And of course, when you are sprinting, your shields do not regenerate. That is one of the kind of the how can I put it? The balances to sprint. If you abuse it, your shields will be abused. They won't recharge at the end of the day, and you need to be careful of that. You can't just go flying off, because if you do go flying off and try and get out of danger, can we get a grab? No, we cannot. Cristolo is a very good attempt, but unfortunately, once again, power weapon proficiency. Shotsy, fresh. Oh.
He just doesn't miss.
No, it's actually a joke. It annoys me. It actually annoys me to watch how it feels like they're not trying, because you look at his face, you look at his gun, it's steady, it's smooth. There's no disrespect. There's no, shouting at the other team, being a nasty player. It's just business.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are here for one goal and one goal, and that's to walk away to the 2018 Halo World Championship. Look at this movement, though. He's buying time for his teammate. Look how tough some of these kills are. These Splyce players are so difficult to kill, and then also, they are so comfortable in many uncomfortable fights. One thing I forgot to point out earlier when we were watching Eco in a close-range fight is, in a similar situation where you see normally 2 top pro players just go in for the melee and trade, Eco keeps that distance. He backs off a little bit. He makes it so someone thinks a melee is about to happen, but he gets away from it. And that's one of the most uncomfortable ranges that you can be in for fighting for Halo.
Snaky on the rampart, trying to stop some people moving straight out the base and kind of keep them locked down. Gets the call out. Nice to see. Answers back, tags one, but the that was a nice challenge, but again, that was the bait and switch. One came back. He said, all right, I'm shielded
all for
now.
nothing.
Step out.
All for nothing. We saw him get 2 players to absolute one shot. Where are his teammates at?
Nowhere.
And I don't know if that's a fault more of Fable or more props out to Splyce, because maybe they just knew that their back was safe. They knew they had no one flanking them, but that is an incredibly frustrating situation right there for Snaky, as he's like, half of Splyce is one shot. Why have we not gotten a single kill from this?
Yeah, you'd expect some of his teammates to actually be there to kind of clean those up, because they're easy kills. They're your 3 points at the, they're your 3 points at the end of the day. Not only that, we've always said this is a game of 2 halves. You can talk about as many kills as you want all day long. Slayer is about the death. If you're racking up the deaths, you're not helping your team out whatsoever. If you've got your teammates there to give you a hand and stop that death from happening, it's a win-win situation.
Absolutely, yeah. It's such a snowbally game. You can talk about so many situations where, hey, if this person lived and got this kill versus had they died, and that's one thing Splyce does very well is they say, hey, we're going to try to keep these alive as long as we can, and especially finishing kills is one of Splyce's strong suits. You notice how that 2v2 practice comes into play where players are just rounding a corner and in very unorthodox positions where it's like, all right, like someone got called over at red 2, but they're getting finished off when the moment that they pop out of red car or under the base and such. They just know how to isolate those kills.
I do feel like you never, with Splyce, it's one thing you don't really see. You never...
Right there's a finish.
Yeah, you don't find yourself in a one-on-one scenario ever. There's always either someone just kind of shooting off across map that can kind of ping you in the back, or one of them will just come out of nowhere, beat you down in the back, or all of a sudden the bait and switch will come through, one will disappear, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, there's two players here. This pairing system that they use, it's so good, man.
Yeah,
so damn good.
Disgusting. I mean, right there, Renegade throwing that grenade towards his teammate's body. He knew that someone's over in that base. His teammate Shotzi collapsed in over towards his pink attic. I mean, just everything goes so well for them.
Yeah, this is business as usual. Should be the final kill. Reversal comes. Even finished it with a reversal. Banks a nade off the wall. Easy kill for Renegade. GG. 35-50. Splyce take game number 2. Now, this really is it for Fable. They've got one more chance. They have to take a map to continue on the series. If they lose the next map, that's pretty much game, set, and match, and potentially them for their tournament fly. Stellar once again with a stellar performance. Excuse the pun, 18-7. I find it freakishly weird how the kills are there, but the deaths aren't. It really, you know, it's.
Yeah.
I don't understand how they survive for so long. You kind of think in your mind as a team, this kid's on a killing frenzy. He's completely wrecking us. We need to kill him. Shut that one kid down. Send 2 players to shut him down and put a cap on it. You know, try and stop the bleeding from this one player. It gets a little, it freaks me out how one player on this team, and at any time that can happen, that's what's even more weirder. One player can just go off and completely flip a map on its table.
Yeah, and here's the thing though, is in Halo history, in Halo's past, when you would shut down a player, it happened to be their power weapon player. It'd be like, all right, snipe down with a sniper, or like Gandhi would have a sniper, and we'd be like, we'd come up with strategies and plays around that to disrupt that setup. However, here, you look at these performances we have from Stellar, it's all with his starting weapon. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna shut him down for 1 life, then he's gonna just respawn again with his Magnum? Like, it's not like you're doing an effective shutdown for the entire match. Like, getting the sniper or power up enough someone's hands is a lasting effect. Getting someone the respawn screen for 5 to 10 seconds and basing your whole team strategy around that is unfeasible to do.
I mean, to be fair, I think if you took the guns off these, that just probably Spartan charge you to death, or just kind of ground pound you all over the place and beat the hell out of you with the fist, to be honest with you. They're that good. However, signs of life here from Fable. They'll get the initial flag pull. They'll get the first one of the game. He's going to hold it down his Cristóla. He needs to be careful, though, because they know exactly where he's going to be.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
I mean, he's going to be flag. Yeah,
Yeah, you just saw those deaths happen around. So the people that are on the outside, on the outskirts there, holding the power positions, as soon as they fall, he's in one of the worst positions on the map, pink 1. He can't revert back towards the Splyce base. They can watch that easily from anywhere up high. Shotzi getting some Tony Hawk Pro Skater extra points right there or something there on bottom pink. I always love the 360s and 720s we're seeing out of him.
I'm pretty sure at Columbus he tried to do 360 no-scope somebody. I'm pretty sure he did, but then again, they are that confident, and yeah, it's actually, it's kind of ridiculous, some of the stuff we do, but nevertheless, Fable, they're giving it a good go. Snaky's banking nades and hoping one person will take a step on them. He's taking this fight a bubble, but he's taking on Renegade. Teammate looking straight out the window, so they can at least help him out there. Flag still on the move, though. They've not got the return just yet.
And luckily, his team also got that last touch. It looked scary for a second, and when I was looking at the nav point, how close their flag was to being recovered, but we now have a Shotzi flank here, going over towards the opposing base, and right there, just seems like, one thing about Splyce that's amazing as well, is it feels like they always have these unfound flanks. Most other situations, things start to slow down a bit, and people are like, all right, my spidey sense is tingling. I know there's got to be someone near me, somewhere around here. I better sweep on my base, but seems like Splyce those flanks so quick, or they're already in position for stuff like that, and it just always catches these players off guard.
Well, they do have the return. They're going to get another pull on it. Shots in the base, but I didn't realize they're actually in his own base. Tags it up, 1-0. Initial cap goes in, ground pound straight back to make sure he doesn't get hit in the back. Will jump up, but his teammate's there with him, so he's going to check below the base as well. SLG and Snaky grab a kill, so 2 members of Splyce will be down. Stella comes straight back up, answers back as well. One-on-one engagement shots. He finishes off, my friend. Easy kill. Shotzi comes around the, excuse me, teammate came around the corner. And again, look at this, Dave. It just feels like it's kind of like when you look at how the there's one player here, there's another one behind him. Gives his teammate a cheeky nade as well to actually stop that one. But then again, Cristola with the double. When you look at them, they're lined up like a wave of water across the map. They kind of move together in a line and like force them into one position. So the collapse comes in not just on a location, but it's like a map-wide collapse where all players move at once and just wipe it. They just erase everybody from the map and pull.
Yeah, they do an entire sweep or something like that. They're very comfortable moving across any portion of the map. The one thing I always talk about Splyce is when they are moving across the map, as soon as they have numbers, they do not care what route they're taking. They're taking the fastest route possible. They're going to fly up through bottom middle and then jump to top middle, or they're going to fly straight into the base. They aren't taking some lackadaisical route up through pink 2 or anything. They're going to make it quick and fast.
So Snaky gets the flag in the base. Needs to be looking for some support. You can see the shots there. Cristola will be calling for some help. Oh.
And look at this position. Once again, here we go. Splyce now has control of this bubble. That person's just going to stay there and hold that position for players like Eco or Renegade to eventually make their way into a flank under blue base. So right there, he is just kind of this bait over in the bubble. So that bubble player is just going to hold down that spot. And I like that response from Fable. They try to take pink as a response because charging over towards bubble is exactly what Splyce wants. They have players that are going to be able to help from those carbine angles.
It feels like he's kind of a bit of a trap, setting up over... Oh. Thankfully, Cristola with them. They're going to be got some really good shots off. One comes flying through the window. This will be a huge kill. My God, Sonny. What a belting kill. Gives a bit of a dodge and weave there. Does go down on the opposing side. Can they get the return, though? Cristola's just absolutely flying through bottom mid. He'll be underneath their base now. I like the fact that they're actually being receptive to where the enemy team are. He's kind of moving away because he knows where these players are. Being up in P2 is rather, it's bizarre and it's definitely dangerous.
Yeah, P2 doesn't have the strength that it used to. I mean, in most cases...
it used to be God Tower, didn't it?
Yeah, it used to be so incredibly strong, especially when you'd get someone over towards Pick 3 once you have your side of the map locked down. However, in this case, Pick 2 is more so an avenue or an angle towards top middle. Eventually, once you have that map kind of sweep down over, you have car under control, you can go towards top center, and that's where you can really be the nuisance. Double melee coming out of Renegade. He is quite the brawler as he's holding down this top car side, trying to desperately stop that recovery, and he does get it. But at the same time, too, Shotzi gets the kill over on Fragger.
This is scary. Stalemate comes through. Double kill comes in. They're going to move it again. They did get the return, but this could essentially be just a fresh pull off the bank. They're all moving together. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. They're in a line. It wouldn't surprise me if one of them did push that. That's exactly what they do. Stella will hand it off, and now we'll move back. They'll either get another pull, or at least just slay them while they're coming off the respawn. Rather than kind of doing the old thing we see on Coliseum, it's like, okay, you move over to the elbow corner, and you can stop anyone from spawning elbow. Rather than do that, they'll just kill them in the spawn.
Yeah, they're so efficient in that situation. Look at if you rewind that last flag run in your head. Clearly, Shotzi has back covered for a moment, and they decided to go cover towards car side, and then he was happy just to toss that flag off to his other teammate over at red side car. So as soon as one of these players gets weak, it's not like that flag stops permanently. Someone else is running it, and just like that, that's a 3-0 victory on flag and a 3-0 victory for Splyce.
Let's make a quick note. Not a single bullet hit him then. That was a full stealth. Not a single bullet or single grenade tagged him. He just ran across the map, and his teammates on foot and allowed it. They just completely allowed it. They kept Fable in the back of the base.
You say they allowed it as if they had a choice.
I think that's what I mean. I think they say, okay, we'll allow this. We'll allow you to cap it. You know, we'll allow the capture. We're getting bored now. Yeah, we'll just kill you. It's not a problem whatsoever. Let's take a look at the kill feed, see how things went down. SLG 10 assists, 6 and 15. Not the greatest of games, but then again, it's not a Slayer match. 12, 14, 13. Triple kill coming out of Cristola, 13 and 12, going positive on his team neutral from Snaky. So giving him a bit of a good game when it comes to slays, but unfortunately it wasn't about the slays. It was about how many flags he can stick in the back of the net. That, my friends, is Splyce going 3-0 against Fable. Now, I'm not going to confirm it because I'm not part of the administration team, but that to me, I would feel is pretty much Fable out of the competition. We're not done yet with pulls, so I'm not going to confirm that, but they've lost a straight now. and they've lost to Splyce.
Regardless, Fable has put themselves in a situation, if they did have any sort of chance, it's up to other teams playing right now. And you never want to put yourself in that position when you're in pools. You never want to be like, all right, well, if this team loses to this team 3-1, and then we win our next series 3-0, like, you don't want to go through those hypotheticals just to have a chance to get into bracket play. No. So regardless, it's not looking too good for Fable right now.
Nah, not at all. But that's enough from myself and Dave. We're going to throw it over to the desk. G-Man and the boys, what do you think about that one?
I mean, well, one thing I will say is that, Dave Walsh, you were just looking like my old landlord, Asfaldo. And just wanted to throw that out there. Really suave, really suave.
We need to get him a leather jacket,
Sims, and then
right?
Sims is just Sims.
I feel like he needs a leather jacket.
We
He's
should
like
get him a leather jacket.
Greaser Walshy is the best kind of Walshy. I love it.
Maybe some dark sunglasses.
Yeah, I'm loving every minute of this because Dave has no power to fight back. Okay, so, you know, that game, I mean, fellas, similar to what we saw in the NV Vex game. I think a lot of people looked at that one and felt like Splyce were going to handedly win that one, which is exactly what happened. 3-0. Some glimpses of hope with Fable, but really it was just all Splyce. And I think it's a testament to the skill, Wonderboy, that this team has, man. Like, they are nasty.
They're dominant in every single game. It doesn't matter whether they're playing a top 2 North American team, a top 8, a team from a different region. I was going to say before, they're freakish aliens. That's the only way to describe
I was saying
Splyce.
If they play against aliens from another dimension, but
okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, freakish aliens, I guess, can aliens play Halo? I'm not sure. I can imagine the lag would be pretty bad online, but what I was going to say before the series is that the silver lining for Fable is the fact that Splyce, they have previously dropped a game back in Orlando, right? The only game I think they dropped the entire event was to Team Infuse, the fellow European team. So that would have been the one silver lining I would have suggested that may have pulled them through to taking a game in this series. But Splyce, just dominance all round, to be honest with you. And I expect them to continue that kind of dominance throughout this entire World Championships, which, by the way, so far has been absolutely horrendous to watch as a European. It's breaking my heart, this whole World Championships. It's the worst.
Yeah, if I could give just Fable some words of comfort, it would be, don't take it personal, because Splyce does this to everybody, right? like Splyce will stake talks in a game or whatnot. So yeah, this series wasn't personal. It was all business for Splyce. That did just knock out Fable from the tournament, if I do believe that. Straight ribbon knocking them, getting the W, and then Splyce getting the W. It's your tournament's over. I do apologize. Have a safe flight home.
Yeah, it's all said and done now, and obviously, as you know, with Fable, I think the match was already said and done before it even started. Knowing that you've got to play Splyce to get out of groups, and even after then, you know, the series would have been close, but Straight would have gone through and Splyce would have gone through just due to match score anyway. So it wasn't just they had to beat Splyce, they had to beat them probably at least 3-0 or 3-1, and let's be honest, that's not going to happen, and we haven't seen that in a while. So, you know, it's like you said before, you know, those stake talks, you know, they made them look a bit silly last event as well. So for making teams like Tox look like that, then obviously with Fable, I think they knew what was coming out.
Yeah, this was a Splyce win, and anything else that would have happened would have been absolutely mind-blowing. But there's the map order just joining us here. Splyce defeats Fable, and thus, you know, sort of ending their run here. I mean, I'm pretty sure, yeah, I do believe you guys are right. I mean, at this point now, it would take a crazy 3-way tie, which also will be another series of events that I don't know any of us are mentally capable of being able to comprehend here. So there you have it, Splyce 3-0 victory on that one. But, you know, looking forward, though, and here's some things I do want to kind of discuss about Splyce, though, because in Columbus, we did start to see, I guess, kind of the solution that they throw to their problems, and it's that they just send bodies to it. They just throw everyone at it, right? They throw all 4 players in the kitchen sink, and sometimes they do so in such a way that sets them up in a very poor position. There were times, I believe, where I saw, I'm trying to remember who it was, either Shanti or Renegade, I think, they pushed in by themselves on Coliseum CTF, and then because of that, that led to the opposing team being able to take map control. They do this quite a bit. They like flying at you, and against these top teams, Lethal, it feels like they need to be very cognizant of that, because I feel like more players started to realize that that's just something that they do.
it's a mix of different opinions. I think you got to remember the fact that sometimes when they just fly out on their own like that in certain scenarios, it might be a distraction tactic. They might be thinking, well, you know what? Say if it was Collie CTF, for example, if one of them's on their own on their bridge or anything like that, it's more of a case of where they're probably having just at least one guy to make that whole team think that they're already pushing up, just so that it's distraction enough, so that they can't get sniped out. And then I think these little things here and there really does work. So people may see it as though, well, he's literally just thrown himself at him and then basically made a few delays and then that was it done. But that wasn't only that, it was the fact that they kept an entire team of 4 back just because of one guy causing like a load of distractions. And what you remember as well, with those 4 players doing these 2v2s and all that kind of thing, I think every viewer, every player in this stadium, everything else, I think what you got to remember is the fact that we've always been through a phase where we play for quite a few hours and our shot's absolutely on point and we feel like we're undefeatable when we go anywhere around the map. Like, you know, we've all been through that phase before. And I think these 4 are just like that all the time. So when you've got the tactics, the strategies and all that stuff, you know, it's quite hard to come by.
Maybe not all of us have been in that situation before. I'd like to say that there's probably been 3 of us up here, but...
Naming no names. I'd like to think I'm one of them.
Okay, Wonder Boy, just go on with your damn point.
I was going to say, could be a bad habit, honestly, they're picking up from Money 2s, right? I mean, this is a team that doesn't scrim regularly. I think they played 1 scrim between Columbus and here at the World Championships. Could be a bad habit of them playing Money 2s all the time, you know? In Money 2s, in 2s game types is one of those things where if you're on the death screen watching your teammate, all you have to do is say, hey, you got to make this play, and then all of a sudden the person feels like they have to make that play to be a beneficial situation in the whole 2v2 ecosystem of the map at the time, right? If they translate that into 4s and teams like Reciprocity we saw in Columbus, if I'm not mistaken, they were able to pick that apart, like the example that you gave, Golden Boy, on Coliseum. You can't fly in one by one on Coliseum. If you get picked off by a team like Tox, they're going to be running that flag already. So yeah, something to look out for, certainly. Could be the kryptonite to Splyce going into the rest of this world.
And they kind of just have free reign to do it, too. Yeah. That's the other thing.
The scary thing is they get away with it because of their individual dominance. I mean, freakish aliens was what I called them earlier, and that's what they are in-game.
I think it's more of Splyce just being so comfortable and so confident against a team like Fable that they can pretty much apply their will however they want to do it. And they got 4 playmakers on that team, and they love to make plays, so they're all trying to do some flashy things, outshoot people, get whatever stats they can get in series like this, and they're just playing relaxed Halo at that point. They're not taking it as crisp as they would against the likes of Reciprocity, Envy, and Tox.
Yeah, but are they really just playing 2s? I'm not saying they're lying or anything like that, but I don't see how there's so much talent in one team to dominate the entire game worldwide and say they only play 2s. Like, I have a feeling that...
You just can't accept it.
No, I'm not going to accept it.
You're like Walshy, bro. You simply just cannot accept that this is something that they do. They do this.
This makes no sense. I reckon they must be screaming behind the scenes. They must be doing something. There's no way. Okay, I might be wrong,
they were screaming, Halo Data Hive would have caught it.
Yeah. But that's the thing. They might be on second accounts. They must be doing something. I do not believe they've just been playing 2s. I don't believe it.
All right, well, gentlemen, we have to move on. Somehow Lethal's going to have to figure out and come to grips with the reality that Splyce just plays 2s against one another. Perhaps him and Dave can just hold each other in the corner in the back there. But for now, though, you see our next matchup. It's going to be a good one, and this is one I think a lot of people are really looking forward to. It's going to be Oxygen Supremacy going up against Reciprocity, and good luck to the casters who have to pronounce those names consistently. But the good news is that we did catch up with Ryan to get his thoughts about this upcoming matchup against the headliner of this group, Reciprocity.
Ryan Noob, it's day 1. We've got matches going on behind us. The crowd is here and the atmosphere is amazing. You've actually had a game already today against Maestro. How did that go?
It went pretty well. We got a 3-0 win. All the games are relatively easy. I had a 2.0 KD. Not that I really care about it, but it's just interesting. So our first match was pretty easy.
Amazing. I hope you carry this incredible independent gameplay over to your next game because you're now facing Reciprocity. Now, they're quite a good team, as are you. This is going to be a bit of a battle. How are you feeling going into this matchup?
It's definitely going to be our hardest match of the pool play, but it's going to be our easiest match if we want to get top 4. So if we want to prove ourselves as a solid team, well, this is the team that we have to beat.
Obviously, this is the team you have to beat. You've just said it. How do you guys now mentally prepare to go into a game like this? Everyone is watching. There's a lot on the line here. How are you guys feeling mentally?
It's a beautiful venue, honestly, but all in all, it's just Halo. So we'll come here, we'll see the crowd, we'll be happy, but then we'll sit down and play some Halo.
So you're just doing what you love.
Doing what we always do every day.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Good luck. We'll shake. Good luck. I can't wait to see you play. Boys, it's back to you on the desk.
Always a pleasure to hear from Ryan Noob. This guy, he's been competing for such a long time, another legend in the scene, and also it's just so talented too. He's one of those guys though that I feel like he understands the game very well, but yet somehow like he can never really get into like those like top 3 teams, but he has the capability to do it. You know, we've seen him before, and you've competed with and I believe alongside him in the past as well.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a good Ryan interview without an awkward handshake at the end.
That's true.
I competed against Ryan, and I teamed with him for one event in H2A for a couple weeks. Very, very intelligent player, very intelligent person outside of Halo. The way he perceives and sees the way that the map and situations to rotate and whatnot are one of a kind.
Yeah.
And that's something that's kept him relative for so long. I got nothing but respect for Ryan. He hasn't played to the top of his game like he had back in. He had some good H2A events, and he had some really good Reach events, but
yeah,
Halo 5 hasn't been his game. He hasn't been able to find his footing.
Well, let's take a look at the series layout real quick, and we'll dive deeper into that one. But CTF Fathom, Slayer Plaza, Strongholds the Rig if necessary, CTF Coliseum, then Slayer Truth. Wonderboy, I wanted to bring you in on this one. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's funny actually when you mentioned Ryan as a really smart player. You know, a player that's been around the block a couple of times. First Halo World Championship, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't it 2016?
Yeah, that's right, because he was, I believe, he was coaching the Mexican team at the 2016 event, and then just fell short of qualifying with Oxygen Supremacy at the 2017 World Championship. So Ryan, and this is a guy, I mean, I've been friends with Ryan for such a long time. He's such a good dude. I think his family's here as well. He's got his mom and his dad. I saw the shirts earlier at breakfast this morning, which is pretty cool.
I saw Ryan's dad at the buffet this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, you eating with him, was you?
Yeah, you know, so good to see the family coming out and support the team. And really, this Oxygen Supremacy team has a lot of talented players on this lineup, Lethal. This is going to be a very tough game for Reciprocity.
Yeah, I'll say with this team, Ryan, we've been speaking about him a lot, but I've noticed that with the entire team, he's always the first one to try and not just spawn kill you, but like just put pressure on you when you get 4 dead, 3 dead, or split spawns. He's always the first one, not by a short amount of time, by a mile compared to the rest of his teammates. And I feel like if you're not saying you should just gun for him and then that's it, like, you know, you should be perfectly fine after that. It's more the fact with him, he's always the first one to spawn kill, he's always the first one to give you the info. All these little things make him such a great player. And not saying compared to the rest of his teammates, because all of them have their own role and all play all round anyway, but with Rhino, he's always so fast and always want to speed up the pace all the time, constantly. So yeah. I feel like with him, it's like if you kill him a lot more often and give him the lack of info and always go for him first, at least put him away for a bit, then on spawn it should give you more of an opportunity to have a counter-attack here and there in the game times.
Well, you know what, his teammates are going to have his back, and we're going to do something a little different this time around. We're actually going to check out a new segment, the G Fuel Key Player Matchup. That is a new thing that we're doing here. So once again, G Fuel Key Player Matchup, and those two players are Straightsik and Mikwin in this matchup. And you were talking about needing to protect Ryan. You're going to look for a guy like Straightsik to make that happen. Clutch. On the other side, though, Mikwin, this guy, formidable player, and has been in the space for just as long as Straightsik has.
Absolutely. Two very similar players as far as play styles go. Really, really heavy slay on both sides. The individual skill between these two players is unmatched. These guys can shoot with the best of them. I'd have to say Mikwin has a better concept of how fours need to be played and how actually Halo, the team game, is played. But you see the individual skill from Straightsik, but he's never been able to make that jump out of the top 6, out of the top 8 to the top 3.
True.
You really want to see him take that next step, and he's been at it for so long, and I'm not saying that he doesn't know how to do it, it's just he hasn't done it at a tournament with a team.
Yeah.
And this is a great opportunity for Straightsik because he has people like Ryan Noob and veterans on his team that he normally hasn't had the chance to team with.
Yeah, for sure. I think Straightsik is one of the most individual talented players in the league. And when you look at a team like Oxygen Supremacy, you think, there can't be that many strong individuals on that lineup because they aren't pushing for the top 4, the top 3, where they probably should be if they do have those individuals. But look at Straight 6 accolades. He was in the Halo 4 Global Championships. He got pretty high up there. Pretty sure he got to the top 8, right?
Top 4.
Top 4, there you go, even better. And he's also qualified for the free-for-all right here as well, right?
That's
Through
right.
his division. So very strong individual player, but I think in that key matchup right there, I think Mikwin probably is my pick of the player who's going to win the matchup, because he's a player back in Halo 2 Anniversary that really caught my eye. That's when I really started paying real big attention to Mikwin as one of those elite players, because his sniping role on Reciprocity, very underrated. If Snipedown doesn't have that snipe, Mikwin's going to be the secondary snipe.
Yeah, when Mikwin's on with snipe, there's nobody like that. It's unbelievable what he was able to do in that H2A.
I remember when he was on Denial in H2A, and it was lockout TS, got the snipe, and just went on a tear. I mean, when he's hot, he's hot. But this is the problem, though. When he's hot, he is destroying. Now, Mikwin sometimes can be a little inconsistent. Absolutely. And that is a huge problem that he has here. Oxygen Supremacy could take advantage of that.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, he was a great H2A player back then, but now, things have changed a bit. You have to be a lot more consistent in terms of your practice regimen and how you go, but as you know, we're talking about Straight Sick a lot. It's very well-known FFA player. He's been doing it since the Halo 3 days, back in the big Flex 4 FFAs, I think it was. And, now it's you would have thought for so many years that he'll be able to transition himself to fours. Maybe he can, but I still think he has a bit more work in terms of that, considering how many years he's been doing it. But yeah, with Mikwin, he needs to go hot. Maybe not straight away, even if it's not today, but at least this weekend. He needs to see the old Mikwin. The Mikwin we know and love, where the fast snipes, the speed, the pace of the game, just everything about him. But I think he'll definitely do it. I don't think he'll be inconsistent in this event to actually mess up in any way.
One thing I will say is that Mikwin playing very, very well today against Infused earlier.
That's true.
He was on fire hitting triple kills. So
all right, so let's do this real fast, because we gotta go to a quick break, but I do want to get the predictions, because this is a big matchup. This matchup can have huge ramifications if Oxygen Supremacy were able to get the win. And I'm going to be very honest here and say that this is as close of a matchup in my mind as you're going to get in these groups. So, Clutch, I'm going to start with you. Give me a prediction.
Reciprocity should be able to take this 3-1, if not 3-0. We saw them struggle with Infuse earlier, but as long as they're fixing their power-up problem, as long as they're able to start getting power-ups and power weapons, I think they should be able to steamroll this team still. Not saying Oxygen Supremacy can't hang. I just think this is a very big series for Reciprocity's confidence going into tomorrow.
If Infuse can take a game, I think OS really should as well. But I think this probably will be a wreck 3-0.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to go with Wes with this one. 3-1, just because of the fact that with Infused, they did really well against him, and Oxygen Supremacy will probably think, well, if Infused can take nearly 2 games off him, well, you never know, there could be some potential to even win this series. But yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult. I reckon Reciprocity would have warmed up a bit now. That was their first match of the day, so yeah, I reckon 3-1.
Okay, well, we'll see how this series pans out, but just a reminder for those of you at home, you can win yourself an Xbox One X. Yes, you can. We give one away at all the stops here at Halo World Championship Tour, and you can win one here as well. Very simple. All you got to do is use that hashtag, HaloWC. Make sure you include a link to the stream or both, whichever works for you. Mixer.com/Halo, Twitch.tv/Halo. Include a link. You could be entered to win an Xbox One X, the same console that the players here are competing on at the Halo World Championship 2018. But that is going to wrap things up here, and the desk is all in agreement that our next matchup could go to Reciprocity. And so far, we've been seeing a lot of sweeps. Splice, the #1 team in this tournament, coming in and showing why they are so dominant, defeating their opponent 3-0. The question is, though, can Reciprocity do the same thing, or will Oxygen Supremacy manage to find a way to take the W? Don't go anywhere.